How you guys doing, man? You guys are good? You guys are good? Awesome, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. My name is Marshall Porteous. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm from Calgary, Alberta. I moved to BC about 8 years ago to pursue a career. Hey, nice. So I came to BC 8 years ago to pursue a career in professional hockey, which is obviously going really well. Thanks for laughing at that. Fuck you. All right, I had a chance, I swear. No, I moved to BC, man. BC's very different. BC's wild. Like, everybody here's so nice and kind and progressive. And that's just not what I grew up around, man. I was raised by racist rednecks and cowboys on a cattle ranch in Didsbury. So I naturally had a pretty hard time fitting in. You guys want to hear about it?
Yeah.
When I first moved here, a bunch of my friends were from UBCO, and a lot of them were from the lower mainland. So they were kind of a little bit more progressive than me. And they used to tell me news articles or things, or current events, things that they'd read online, shit that they would, bring up in school. They told me about one news article, this news story about this woman from the UK who woke up from a coma with a Chinese accent. That's a true story. And he went on for about 10 minutes about how bad he felt for this chick. And I agree, but with the way I was raised, that wasn't my first thought. My first thought was I really hope she didn't drive home from the hospital. That bothered you, man. I'm just cracking my knuckles. Be careful. You got 20 more minutes of this. Grab the Vaseline, baby. But yeah, man, very different in BC. And it's not just shit like that. Like, I got a missing tooth. I played hockey for 20 years. I got a missing tooth. Back home, that's a badge of honor. People see it, they assume you're a hockey player or a cowboy, and they ask you for the story that's associated with it. It's kind of a dope interaction. So when I moved to BC, I was in for a bit of an adjustment. Like, I ended up going to this house party, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'll use this as an opportunity to meet girls. There's a chick standing at the edge of the room. I smile at her. I show off my missing jib. It's going okay. She walks up nice and slow. She gets a couple inches from my face, leans into my ear, and she whispers, "What's your dealer's number?" I was like, seriously? Are drugs that bad in BC that it's safer to assume someone does meth than plays hockey? It's insane. I didn't believe it. And then I started working downtown. I took a wrong left turn on my way to my first shift. I ended up on Leon Ave. I don't know if you guys have been to that dress rehearsal for Beetlejuice. It's terrifying. It's a spooky spot. It's a dark, dark place. Well, I shouldn't say dark. It's mostly white guys. But yeah, man, I work downtown. I work as a bouncer, believe it or not, and at an unnamed bar. I love my job. But I work downtown, I work as a bouncer, and every time I tell people that, they always ask me for the craziest story that I have from doing that job. Now, there's a laundry list of items I could give you, but I always tell the same one to people who ask. This is a true story. There was a guy from Grand Prairie down visiting, taking a break from the rigs, and I had to kick him out. And on his way out of the building, he turned around and he called me the N-word. And I should have been offended by that. But for a white guy named Marshall who wears basketball shoes, it's a hell of a compliment.
The C word, the cracker word.
I wish, man. C word.
The C word. Sorry, brother.
No, you're chilling, man. You're chilling. I wish I had as many beers as you. I'd be all good. I'm 3 years sober, but I'm living vicariously.
Yeah!
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's not that dope. Once you start waking up at City Park with somebody else's pants on backwards, you start drawing the line somewhere. But no, it's different. I ended up going to therapy about that interaction with that guy, though, at front of the bar. I thought about it. I was like, why the fuck would I take that as a compliment? That's insane. So I went to therapy about it. My therapist said to me, it's probably because I'm really insecure and we need to rediscover my masculinity. Now, where I'm from, masculinity means 3 things: drinking beer, shooting guns, and sexually harassing your server at Chili's. So I had to do a little bit of self-work. She goes, no, Marshall, what we're going to do is an exercise where we look back and think about all the times you let that insecurity grew into a really good thing for you. So we thought about my previous relationships. We thought about one moment in particular where my ex and I were sitting on the couch and she'd asked me who my celebrity crush was. Now, I was dating a brunette at the time, so I thought the safest play would be to say something like Megan Fox. I thought it was considerate. And then it was up to her. And while she's sitting there thinking about her answer, I'm like, please say Conan O'Brien, please say Conan O'Brien. That was the hardest somebody's laughed yet. Thank you. I'll wear that home. That sucks. She turns to me, and you'll laugh at this too. She turns to me, she says, Jason Momoa. For those of you laughing, fuck you. Okay? If you are laughing, it's probably because you know what he looks like. He's this big Hawaiian guy with olive skin and tattoos. And I look like Ed Sheeran with a vitamin deficiency.
Aquaman.
So that one hurt, man. Yeah, Aquaman. I look how they drew Aquaman in the 40s, okay? He's a little different. We're not fucking twins, But yeah, no, we ended up breaking up, and it really fucked me up. She actually left me for another guy, and that drove me insane. I went back to therapy about that. My therapist said, Marshall, you should take some comfort knowing that when a woman leaves a man for another man, she then becomes twice as likely to do the exact same thing to him. You know, that brought me some comfort. I felt even more comfort when I found out that he was a soccer player, because I knew he was just as likely as she was to leave for another guy. Glad you like that. I told that joke in Vancouver. Didn't go so well. There's a couple soccer players sitting front row. They found my Instagram, DM'd me after the show, and they asked me to fight. And I should have responded with grace. I should have, but I didn't, because I'm insecure. I messaged him back. I said, bro, I'm not afraid of you, because the only thing that soccer players fight is the urge to come out to their parents. Some of you guys holstered your laughs for that. I respect that. That's good of you. Don't laugh at that. That's good.
I can't help it though.
But yeah, man. Yeah, it was interesting. I thought I'd gotten past all that insecurity shit. I really did. And then I was at a bar downtown a couple weeks later, same city, Vancouver, and I was using a gender-neutral washroom. Now in this washroom, there's 2 stalls and 2 urinals. Okay, I'm using the left urinal. I'm the only person in the room, and then I hear the door kick open. Now, the men in the audience know when you're using a urinal, the only option left is beside you. You get spooked. You're like, oh shit, who's coming in? I hear the door kick open, I start to panic. I look over my shoulder. It's this tall, beautiful brunette woman. I'm thinking, thank fuck. Okay, she's got the stall, I got the urinal, we're chilling. She walks up and parks herself at the urinal next to me. I'm thinking, oh shit. She pulls up her skirt and drops out an absolute wrench. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It looked like she was riding a dead ostrich. It was ridiculous. Now, I'm not transphobic, but I am insecure. I'm thinking, this chick's got twice the dick of me, probably doesn't even want it. Fuck this, I'm going to the sink. So I go start to wash my hands. A couple seconds later, she follows me to the sink. She goes, excuse me, I just want to talk to you for a second. I said, no problem, what's up? She said, I just want to say thank you for not making a big deal out of that. Normally when I use the washroom around men, they make a big deal, they make a comment, and then they walk away. It's really shitty. I said, no problem, we're just people trying to pee. But if you don't mind me asking, why is it that you use a urinal? And she said, well, I grew up playing boys' sports, and so I'm just used to the amenities that we had as kids. And I said, oh, no kidding. Like, I played hockey for 20 years. So I said, what sport do you play? She said, I play soccer. So for those of you keeping count, it's 2-1 soccer players on me right now. No bueno, that one hurt. That one hurt. I had to start dating again, man. I started dating again. But again, like, I'm a 3-year sober guy. And being a sober guy means that when you have a heartbreak, you're trying to go out and get that mended. You can't do it like a lot of other guys like to. Like, a lot of guys like to go out, get shit-faced, take home a shit-faced girl, mend their heart, Not me, man. I can't do that. Because as a sober guy taking home a drunk chick, that's wrong. And I don't play hockey for Team Canada. So I have to do it the old-fashioned way, man. I gotta go out on dates and hope to Christ I do well enough that she invites me over afterwards. And it started to work out with this one chick. We went for dinner, hung out in her living room, things were going good, we were shooting the shit. It was all right. At the end of the night, she said, Marshall, you can stay over. I have no problem with that, but we can't have sex. I said, no problem, because I'm a gentleman. 20 minutes later, she rolls over, she goes, I've changed my mind. And I said, no problem, because I have red hair. You don't see UNICEF kids sending their packages back. We start going at it, things are going good. But then I start feeling something rub my balls. I start to panic a little bit. I'm like, what the hell? This chick's got, practice makes perfect. We're not wearing a condom. I'm getting nervous. So then I realize, though, as the SUV drives right past her window, the headlights bleed through the blinds, and while this feeling's going on down there, both of her hands are on her head. Thinking, this chick's a fucking Jedi. What the fuck is going on? So I start to panic, though. I roll over to the bedside table, pull the light switch, and I see a tail that belongs to a chocolate lab that she let stay in the room with us. And I start to panic again. She leaves the room with this dog, she's all apologetic, and I say, no problem, it's all good, let's just go to sleep. 2 weeks later, I'm back in therapy, and I talked to my therapist about it. She goes, what's the progress on this vision board we'd started together? I said, oh, well, I think we've gotten to the part where I feel discovered again, I feel like I'm getting back out there. And I realized though that situation with the chocolate lab was my fault, because right under getting discovered again on my vision board, I realized I wrote interracial threesome. And that's where I fucked up. That one's on me. But yeah, man, dating in Kelowna, bro, it's wild out here. It's wild. God's lost and found in this fucking city. It's an interesting spot, bro. Dude, in the summer, it's a tourist destination. You get some fun out here. Between April and September and April, it's a student town, right? Like there's a university, there's a college. So you get all kinds of walks of life in this place. I was fortunate enough to go on a couple dates with this girl from Palestine. It was really interesting, but the language barrier and the cultural barrier and the fact that I was raised by rednecks did not help. Like we went on a couple dates. On our first date, she tells me that when she moved to Canada, because she got really heavily interested in American TV and movies, and I'm a huge movie guy myself. So I asked her, I said, what's your favorite American movie? And she goes, I love the new reboot of Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. Now, I love that movie too. I especially love his co-star, Jude Law. And I told her that, I said, I love Jude Law. She got all offended because she thought Jude Law was the name of the legal system in Israel. We somehow made it through date number 1. Date number 2, she said, Marsha, you're Canadian, you must like to smoke weed. I said, oh, I like to smoke weed once in a while. Sometimes I'll get stoned. And she goes, how do you get stoned? I said, by smoking out of a bong. Do you smoke weed? She goes, once in a while. I said, how do you get stoned? She goes, by trying to vote in my native country. You know what? That joke it's present, it's culturally relevant. I decided to start sourcing locally again. Figured that didn't go great. So I started seeing this girl from Vancouver Island, and she was a bit of a hippie. She wore Birkenstocks fucking everywhere. I gave her a hard time about it too. The coolest part about our relationship is that we had great banter. We always made fun of each other. It was good. Until she found out that I joined the Canadian Armed Forces. I applied to join, and she was really, really adamant that I don't. She says, Marshall, what makes you think you'd be a good soldier? And I said, well, I tease you all the time. You're always wearing your Birkenstocks. She goes, what does that have to do with anything? I said, well, since dating you, I've gotten really good at taking shots at people who wear sandals. It's wild, man. It's wild. I knew you'd love that one, homie. I could tell. But yeah, no, I bet this new girl, it's been going really good. We also have a lot of banter. It's a lot of fun. We had a conversation the other day. We had a bit of an argument, actually. It was an interesting one. She told me that she thought the most pain a human being could ever endure in their life was childbirth. And as a guy, I was pissed to not be able to say that I could go through that. So I was too big to admit that that was true. By the end of the argument, I kind of started to accept it. But then I remembered one key important detail from my life. I did fight a native guy once. That had to have been the most pain I've ever been through in my entire life. I was at Beer League, it was about a month ago, and I had a breakaway. The whistle went, I turned around, I realized all the sticks were dropped. And the thing about line brawls is, everybody on the ice is fighting. It's a lot like taking someone home from the bar. The longer you wait to pick a dance partner, the bigger that bitch is gonna be. This guy was 6'5", I kid you not, 250 fucking pounds. His hand was the size of a smart car. And I grabbed onto him, waiting for a right hook that just was lost in the mail. And then a left came around the corner and dropped me in the middle of the ice. He hit me so hard that I think we're even. I learned more in that 40 seconds of fighting than I did in 12 years of social studies about his past and history. There's no way. I got educated that day. And he said something hilarious to me at the end of the fight. He skated right past me while I was laying on the ice. He goes, hey buddy. I go, yeah. Equal rights, equal lefts. Yeah, man, how much time do I got left? How much more can I say to you guys before you lose interest? Well, me and my girl, man, we still have our little arguments. Like, she's a bit of a sympathizer with shit. She doesn't want to be quick to judge. And with all this Epstein shit coming out, I thought this would be a great opportunity to start an argument. I was talking to her about the list of people that were there. Now, there's a crazy list of people that were there. You know, Bill Clinton, Chris Tucker. But there's one name that really stood out to me, which is ironic because he can't stand. But it was Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was on that island. And I went up to her, I said, did you know Stephen Hawking's a pedophile? She goes, well, we don't know that. He could have been there for a lot of other reasons. Like, a lot of people who said they were there said they were there for, like, jet skiing and surfing and scuba diving. I'm like, really? Think Hawking's getting on a board? You out of your mind? Imagine if that was his defense. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, but imagine if that was his defense. The opposition walks into the courtroom, Mr. Hawking, what were you doing on the island? And he's just sitting there, you know, like he does. Jeff took me surfing. He'd be going straight to jail, man. He's not beating that case. So I'm a little pissed that he's dead, because I got to, like, we had to miss that court case. That would have been kind of crazy to watch. However, I do take some comfort, because I believe in the death penalty for pedophiles, and technically, Stephen Hawking did die in an electric chair. Anyway, you guys, that's my time tonight. I really appreciate you guys coming in.